Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs are absolutely rolling right now on the recruiting trail. They picked up another major commitment yesterday in four-star edge Chase Linton, 6'4", 215 pounds out of North Atlanta. And it looks like Georgia could once again land the #1 recruiting class in the country. I'm going to talk about Georgia's newest commitment. I'm going to talk about Georgia's chances at the #1 class in the country. The biggest strengths of this class, who else is left on the board, what Georgia's class could eventually look like come signing day, which is in a little less than 2 weeks now. So if you're trying to learn the latest on Georgia Bulldog recruiting, this is the video for you. I've been covering this class for a long time. It is tremendous, and we're going to talk about it. But quickly, I want to talk about Georgia's newest commitment that they landed yesterday. Of course, you can read all about him over on Dawg Post. I saw him play earlier this year. I think it was mid-October against North Forsyth, just around the corner from me. But this is a kid who plays aggressive. He's got a long wingspan. He's ranked as the #10 edge defender in the country, number 107 overall. He's a good player and he flashes. I still think he's a little raw, still needs some time to develop. But from a physical standpoint, he's got the physical tools. He's got the frame to add more weight and muscle, but he's very quick off the snap. He finds his way in the backfield. He plays hard. He's got a high motor, and he uses his length to his advantage and plays with good leverage. So there's a lot to like about his game, and he's been a fast rising kid, was committed to Rutgers. Georgia offered him in late July, I believe, started to put the pressure on him and push for a commitment. And today they publicly landed his commitment, but he's a guy that's been trending Georgia's way for a while. And of course, if you're on Dawg Post, you've known all about him for a while, and you knew that he's been leaning Georgia's way for a little bit. So he is one of the best edge defenders in the state. And again, he's a top 10 edge defender in the country. Big deal. He gives Georgia 26 commitments in this class. And when you look at this class down the road, you're going to look at how many in-state guys they took. They stayed in the Peach State, in their backyard more in this class than they have in the last several years. So they went and tried to lock down the state of Georgia. I think they did a great job. And you're also going to look at the defenders that they signed in this class, because this is a truly elite recruiting class. And defensively, maybe across the board, maybe this could be Kirby Smart's best recruiting class since he's been in Athens. And I say could be because we don't know what these guys are going to turn into, but on paper, it is tough to beat this class, especially on defense, right? There's no 5-star quarterback, and I think that's, they're trying to add another one. There's a kid committed to Cal Berkeley from Hawaii that they're really looking at trying to flip. There's a kid that's committed to Mississippi State from that state that they're trying to flip. So they could add another quarterback if they need to. But let's start with their top guys, right? I want to talk about the 5-star kids they have committed, because if you're just a casual, Georgia fan that covers, or if you casually follow recruiting, you may not know a ton about these guys. So I want to jump into it. It starts with Elijah Griffin. He's the #1 defensive lineman in the country. He's the #5 overall prospect in the country, 6'4", 300 pounds out of Savannah Christian. He's from Pooler, Georgia, all right? Don't say he's from Savannah. He will correct you. He's from Pooler, Georgia. I personally, this is just me being honest, okay? Just me being honest. I don't think he's the #5 player in the country. I think he's a 5-star. Yeah, I think he's probably a top 25, top 30 player in the country, which is one of the best players in the country. He is a 5-star guy. He is a dominant guy that can help you win championships. I'm just not sure he's the #5 player in the country. Maybe I'm wrong. He is elite. He is a dominant interior defensive lineman that, Georgia was trying to add in this class. Justice Terry is another guy who's uncommitted. He'll be in Auburn this weekend, but I still think Georgia's in a good spot for him. But Elijah Griffin, he's the top-ranked guy. After that, it's Isaiah Gibson. Elijah Griffin, #1 defensive lineman. Isaiah Gibson, #1 edge. He's got like a 7-foot-long wingspan from Warner Robins, 6'3", maybe 6'4", 265. Tremendous pass rusher. Again, a top 10 prospect in the country. He's #8 overall, the #1 edge defender. He is a big deal, and a guy that the staff loves. They coveted him. He was towards the very top of their board for good reason. So he is a dynamic in-state pass rushing edge defender who is the best in the country at his position. Big deal. After that, you've got an elite wide receiver. I've been telling you all about this kid for a long time. Talon Taylor, 6'1", 175. So he doesn't bring that A.J. Green Julio Jones type of size, right? But 6'1" is still more than enough to play receiver. 175, shifty, explosive, tremendous ball skills. This is a guy that floats, right? Michael Jordan floats. Anthony Edwards floats. A.D. Mitchell, they just float in the air. When they lift up, they just kind of stay up there. Talon Taylor can do that. The body control that he has, the vertical he has, the balls. He is a natural receiver. He was put on this earth to play wide receiver. He is the number 5 wide receiver prospect in the country, which is a great ranking considering how many fantastic wide receivers there are across the country in this class. He's the 5th best, number 28 overall. He's scoring a touchdown almost like half the time he's catching the ball. If you want statistics, by the way, I want to send y'all over Dawg post, right? There's some other targets left in this class that they're after, but I want y'all to go to the website to read it all. I don't want to give you all the inside scoop here because, again, we have a website. That's where the stories are. That's where the inside scoop is that I can't tell you on YouTube, along with numbers and statistics and, breakdowns, player breakdowns of all of these commitments you can find on Dawg Post. So make sure you're heading over to the website. But yeah, Talon Taylor, his numbers are elite. He's just crushing kids up there in Illinois. Zayden Walker, after that, another 5-star, number 1 linebacker, number 1 defensive lineman, number 1 edge, number 1 linebacker. I'm not sure he's the number 1 linebacker, but that's where he's ranked, right? I think he's a really, really good player. Been covering him since he was a freshman. He's ranked as the number 1 linebacker and the number 29 overall prospect in the country. 6'2", 225. He's got plenty of size and muscle on him. Really good player out of Sly County, basically the middle of nowhere. I think that's Ellaville. Someone help me out there. But yeah, small town. He's been starting as a freshman. Big deal. So he's on board. Elias Williams. Ellis Williams? I keep forgetting. That's on me. I'm awful with names. I got to do a better job of that. Hand up. I think it's Elias Williams. Someone please correct me on that. I'm the worst. 6'7", 245. That's what matters. This kid is big, athletic, runs like a deer, can catch the football. I think he's better than number 36 overall. Some guys I think should be ranked a little lower than where they are. I think Elias Williams, I may not be able to say his name correctly, unfortunately, because I'm an idiot, but he's a 5-star player. I can look at him and tell you this kid can make a major impact in Athens. He's not as big as Darnell Washington, but he's a better athlete, better pass catcher, but he's not, he's not as fast and doesn't have the ball skills as like Brock Bowers does, right? So he's a little bit in between, but the guy's a playmaker. He's a mismatch in the middle of the field. He's the number 1 tight end prospect in the country. I think he's better than number 36 overall. But hey, 5-star is a 5-star. C.J. Wiley comes after him. He's the number 11 wide receiver, number 73 overall prospect in the country. Plays out of Milton. Georgia flipped him from Florida State. 6'3.5", 6'4", 200 pounds. Incredibly fast for his size. Can run routes. Incredibly productive over his high school career. Was at Alpharetta. Was at Milton last year. Took off. Led them as a junior to a state title. He's back this year having a tremendous senior season. Probably going to lead Milton to a deep playoff run. I'm not going to say they're winning state. I think they will, but I don't know. But we'll see. If you're in the North Fulton, Alpharetta, Roswell, Milton area, go see him this weekend if you can. He is going to ball out, I think, against Dutchtown at Milton. Darren Ikenagbin from New Jersey, another long, promising edge defender who's barely been playing football. Georgia loves the potential and the high ceiling. He's the number 7 edge, the number 80 overall prospect. So again, all of these guys I've talked about, they're all in the top 80 in the country, and he is a promising edge defender, 6'6", 265. Again, his best football is still years ahead of him, and Georgia knows it. They want to turn him into a really good player, and I think they've got a decent chance to do so. And then rounding out their commitments in the top 100, Usmani Chroma, 6'1", 215-pound bowling ball from Lee County, having a tremendous, not only senior season this fall, but he's had a hell of a career. He's a guy that has been on my radar since he was a freshman running the football down there. He's big, 6'1", 215, runs really well and can make defenders miss in the open field, but he will truck you and keep the chains moving. He is a big-time back who brings some explosiveness for a guy 215. He's the number 4 running back in the country, number 92 overall. Big deal. This is a guy that Auburn kind of dropped on their board for whatever reason. They're a bunch of dummies. There's no reason ever why Auburn should be dropping kids that Georgia's taking. If Georgia offers a kid, Auburn should be offering them 5 minutes later without even watching the film, without doing anything. If Georgia offers a kid, Auburn needs to offer that same kid immediately. That's where their program is compared to Georgia. So the fact that they said kind of no thanks and stop recruiting this kid that Georgia was happy to accept just shows the incompetence that they have over there at Auburn. So breakdown. They've got one quarterback, could have room for one more. They've got their 2 running backs. They've got 5 wide receivers. I'm going to make another video breaking down all of these players specifically, but in this one, I did want to talk about Chase Linton and the top guys, the 5 stars that they have. They have 2 tight ends, 4 offensive linemen, room for one more. For the latest on that guy, another in-state lineman, make sure you head over to Dawg Post. I got the details over there. They've got 2 inside linebackers, Zayden Walker, Anthony Crua out of Marietta. 2 defensive linemen with room for 2 more, both of them. In-state guys, Jeremiah McLeod out of Lee County, I think is trending Georgia's way. Was still maybe committed to Florida, but I think Georgia's in a good spot. And then Justice Terry, of course, the 5-star from Manchester, top 20 prospect of the country. Big deal. Still like Georgia's chances there. They've got their 3 edge defenders and 5 defensive backs. For more on them, head on over to Dawg Post. But hey, that's a quick recap of where Georgia sits. They've got another elite class coming in. Might be the best in the country. Again, thanks for watching. And for the latest in all of these guys and more, make sure you're heading over to Dawg Post. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you over on the website.